Confidently controversial. Confidently controversial. Confidently controversial. And we're locked and we are loaded, and that means you can talk now.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Good morning. Or I guess it might not be morning where you are.
No, is it not? It's not 5:30 in the morning where you are. Weird.
Guys, it's very early. We just need to say that,
Yeah.
I think.
We're very busy people.
We are. We got to just get these things done. And so who wouldn't want to wake up at the crack of dawn and watch a movie?
With their best friend.
We are best friends. Hi.
Hi, I'm Kim Tweed.
And I'm Emily Paul.
We are
Confidently Controversial.
the podcast.
Yes, which is a show where we rewatch movies from our youth and we discuss, we learn about them.
Right.
We watch them.
We tell you half-ass versions of what happened in them.
We kind of go off on some weird tangents.
Yeah.
It's fun.
You learn a little bit about us. You learn a little bit about the movies. You fall in love with both
Of us.
of us and the movie.
Maybe, unless maybe we don't like the movie.
Right.
Which sometimes does happen.
And sometimes that makes you like it more, apparently.
Yeah, we never know what's going to be going on. So how are you? How are you doing?
I'm good. I think I'm good.
You think you're good? You're
Yeah.
awake? You're ready?
I'm awake, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm awake too. I was
Yeah.
quite happy to see when I woke up, I had a text from you that was just like, yep, come on over.
Let's do this thing.
Let's do this. I'm
That's
like,
right.
yes, let's get it done.
Yeah. How was your week?
Week was okay.
Good.
I mean, you know how my week was.
I
You
know
were
how
with
it
me
was.
the
I
whole
know
time
how it was.
for it.
I've chosen the movie specifically. based
Oh,
on
really?
that. Well, not
man.
really, but sort of.
Okay. Well, that makes me happy.
Okay.
So as you noticed when I walked into your house, I had a big box.
Yeah, I
with
know.
me.
You've just been carrying it around like you're a postman.
The reason I have a big box is because I never really got you a Christmas present.
Okay.
I don't know if you noticed that.
No, I didn't notice.
Okay.
Well, kind of. It's on the list of things that you've done to wrong me.
Well, you can cross it off.
Yeah, baby.
So because I had gotten you a thing and then it came in the mail and it actually came in the mail late.
Uh-huh.
And when I got it, I didn't like it for you anymore.
Okay. All right.
It was like a thing that I ordered on the internet and I feel like I got it and I was like, oh, this would be great for Kim. And then I got it and I was like, no, I can't give this to her. And then when we went to Disney, I was like, oh, I should find something for Kim. I had that like on my list of things.
Okay.
But then I didn't because I was with my family, usually when we go to Disney, we do a lot of shopping.
Yes.
Like that's our favorite thing.
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's not what you do when you go with a lot of little kids. Because they're just like,
No.
if you go into a store,
You have to buy them something.
you have to buy them something.
Yeah.
So there wasn't a lot of that happening.
Got it.
So I didn't get a chance to really shop and get you something. But I came home and I was like, it just hit me. And I finally finished your gifts.
Oh, my goodness.
But I did not wrap it.
That's okay. I don't believe I wrapped yours either.
So we're gonna
just hand me this giant
I'm gonna hand
Amazon
you this box.
And it's heavy, guys. And it's going to make some noise. Oh, my gosh.
You got to talk. You have to
I
narrate
have to talk.
it.
Okay. There's a box. It's pretty. It's really cute. It says Glassy Girls on the front of it. And it's cute. And it's a cup. And it says, drink your juice, Shelby. Oh my God, I love it so much. Oh my God, I can't wait to drink all of my juice out of it.
I know.
Oh,
You drink any kind of juice out of that.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Here's some paper.
Yes.
Oh my God. Some artwork from our friend, Miss Amy Cohen of Back Bay Designs. Shout out.
Yes, shout out. Check her out online.
Oh my gosh. And it's a very cute sea glass art that says antisocial butterfly. And it's lovely and I love it so much. Oh my God. It's so cute.
When I picked that out for you, I like sometimes I go because Amy's a good friend of mine and she has all of her art at her house and I'm like, I'll shop for things. And I was looking for one for you and I was like, well, which are the ones that she's like, well, these ones are real popular. And I'm like, no. Which is the one you like the most?
You don't understand.
And
Kim's
she's like,
not real
this is the one I
popular.
like the most. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's the one.
Is this a blanket?
It is.
It's a Tom Selleck blanket, and there's a picture of him in his panties on it.
I figured you had to open it before we watch the movie because that needs to be your new podcast blanket.
Oh, my God. It's I'm so excited. I'm drooling. There's so much chest hair, so many. Oh my God. Are those like high-waisted gotchis?
Yeah, so we're going to have to take a picture of you holding it up.
Yes. Oh my God.
So
amazing.
Merry Christmas.
That's a great Christmas present. I love it.
You're welcome. I'm glad.
I love it. It's so nice.
Yay. So there you go. Now you've had your Christmas present.
Now you're back in my good graces.
Oh, yay. I'm so glad to hear it. So let's talk about a movie, Kim.
All right, let's jump right into it.
Okay.
All right, so I've decided to change it up a little bit this week.
Oh, no.
Because we're going to jump to...
Okay.
1992.
Wow. I was in high school.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did the math.
Okay.
When this movie came out, which was September 18th, 1992.
Okay.
I was starting my freshman year of high school.
Okay.
You were starting your sophomore year of high school.
This was a big deal year for me.
Okay.
Sophomore year in high school because I had that summer gotten contact lenses.
Okay. I thought you were going to say boobs.
Well, probably those too. But I had always worn glasses since I think I got my first prescription pair of glasses when I was 9 years old.
Okay.
And so I always had to wear glasses. And at the time, the glasses that were in style were like the big Sally Jesse Raphael glasses.
Yes. Well, not in style. They were what you could get.
They were what you could get. And I had a really bad eyeglass prescription. So they just never looked, they were very thick and they never looked good. And so when I got my contact lenses, I feel like it was that part in the movie where it's like, who is that beautiful girl? And suddenly it was like a whole new world for me.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
So this is a good time.
That's kind of what I've kind of tried to embrace with this movie this week.
Okay.
A whole different person.
Yes.
You're like leaving behind that dorky 80s kid.
That's right.
And you're really coming into your own.
That's right. With my boobs and my contacts.
That's right. 1992, we're like 15 years old, about to be 15 years old.
Okay.
You're 15. I'm 14.
Okay.
President Clinton is about to get elected president.
Okay, so we're hearing him play the saxophone. He's talking boxers or briefs, rocking the vote. Okay,
exactly. He was got into office in January '93, so we're like September. We're prime election time,
and we were probably so linked into that because we were 15.
That's right. And then Encino Man, A River Runs Through It, A Few Good Men, Death Becomes Her. Those were the hot movies.
Oh, they were great. Those were all movies that I went to the movies to see because I was an age where that's all you could do. Right. So I would go to the movies and see all of them.
Silence of the Lambs. It won the Oscar.
Oh, that was a great movie.
Okay. And Unforgettable by Natalie Cole. Where she duetted with her dad.
Yes.
Was the #1 song.
And that was like free. Everybody was like, it's the technology. She's singing with her dad.
And also also kind of gives you guys an idea of where we were in life. For the first time, CDs surpassed cassette tapes in sales.
Yes.
So in 1992, the CD reigned supreme for the first time ever.
That Christmas, so like just a few short months later, I didn't get a CD, like an actual like boombox with a CD player in it, but I got a Discman with the cords that you could hook up to your boombox. Okay. And then I got CDs for Christmas. Okay. And it was like, I had them like in a special place. Got it. And it was pretty great.
I had the big, like, stereo system.
I know you did.
With the big speakers. I
know you did. I was at your house.
I'm telling the people, not you. I know you were there. Jeez, are you mad about it?
I don't know. Maybe I'm a little jealous.
Christ. So yeah, I had that, and I remember like it was a big deal to like decorate the top because you didn't use the record. It still had the record player, but you didn't use the record player.
Oh, I didn't have my parents, and they still do have this. They still have the
tier, like the
tiered
tower
thing with like the record because they still have records. So record at the top, the cassettes, and the CD changer.
That's what I had, and then the big speakers. And I remember underneath there was like storage space, and then I had this like thing that held my cassettes, but then I remember like stacking the CDs in there. Yes. And it was, becoming the CD time.
It was the CD time. Right.
Okay. So this movie was, like I said, September 18th, 1992. It made $18 billion worldwide.
Okay.
maybe. I don't know how numbers work.
18 billion, did you say?
$18,471,850. Sorry, not 18 billion.
I was going to say, Jesus, what is this movie?
Titanic. No.
Like, I'm not watching Titanic today.
And this movie was based on a script originally written in 1984 that was set in Phoenix, Arizona.
Okay.
But there was some changes in music at that time. You might remember.
It got a little grungy.
And the writer and director of this film kind of paid attention to that, and he noticed that when one of the lead singers of a band called Mother Love Bone died of a drug overdose in 1990, he noticed that the music community in Seattle came together to process that loss together. Sure. So he really started paying attention to this community in Seattle.
Right.
And he rewrote the script with that incident in mind, changing the setting to Seattle, which had not been the location of the original movie, but had been the location of his previous movie called Say Anything.
Okay.
So the writer and director of this movie is Mr. Cameron Crowe.
Okay.
And
love Cameron Crowe.
Right. He's pretty iconic director. We know him from Almost Famous.
And I love, that movie. I watched that with my daughter not too long ago, and it's just the best. It's the best. Yes.
Okay. Shot in spring of 1991. It was shot at the Coriel Courts Apartments in Seattle, Washington.
Okay.
And the tagline for this movie is, "Love is a game, easy to start, hard to finish."
Okay. I know what this movie is.
Yeah.
Is it singles?
It is.
Okay. This was one of the first, in that, when I was just saying I got all those CDs for that Christmas, this was the sound, I got this CD soundtrack was one of those CDs.
Well, this CD soundtrack actually came out months ahead of the movie. They wanted to really start pushing the idea that this movie was coming out. So they released the soundtrack first. To get it out there into the world. And, it became really pretty much like a soundtrack we listened to constantly at this time.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I listen to it every once in a while now.
Oh, yeah. It's great. Yeah. It's a great soundtrack, great music. So,
Pausing. Our brain is not working.
So early. So, like I said, shot 91. Warner Brothers actually held on to this movie for about 9 months, and they didn't really know what to do with it, didn't want to release it. And then all of a sudden, Nirvana released their album, and grunge became this huge thing. And they were like, yay, we have this movie. We're so excited. Yeah. It fits in perfectly.
Sure.
And then they did release it. Other movie titles that they considered for it were In the Midnight Hour.
Okay.
You Can Feel the Power. Love in Seattle. Leave Me a Message. And Come As You Are.
Okay.
Which they obviously didn't use Come As You Are because that's the name of a Nirvana song.
That is the name of a Nirvana song. Eddie Vedder's, like Pearl Jam's in this movie, right?
Pearl Jam is in this movie. So Eddie Vedder, Stone Gossard, and Jeff Ament are actually the backup band for Matt Dillon.
Yes.
In a band called Citizen Dick.
Citizen Dick. Oh my God. Yes. Okay.
Now, Citizen Dick is the name of the band in this movie. And they had, they were a fake band, obviously, but they did have real musicians in it. And Eddie Vedder plays the drummer in the band.
Right.
And he actually also covers the vocals for one of the songs that Citizen Dick sings, because it's not really Matt Dillon.
I wouldn't think so.
But Chris Cornell...
Oh, yeah, that guy.
Of Soundgarden was on set for a lot of this. He does make a cameo in the movie, and he was actually offered the role of Cliff, but he declined it because he wanted to focus on Soundgarden.
Okay.
He saw a fake set list laying around of songs that Citizen Dick would be playing if they were playing a concert, and they were all completely made up. And he actually wrote a song to match each of the songs on the set list.
Stop it.
Yes. And one of those songs was Seasons.
Oh, wow. That's a great song.
Which is on this soundtrack.
Okay.
And then another song was Spoon Man.
I hate that song.
But it did well for
It did.
Soundgarden. Doesn't matter what you think of it. The world loved it. And
sure.
It became a hit in 1994.
Okay.
And you can kind of hear the rough version, like a demo in the film.
Okay, cool.
When they're like posting flyers of Citizen Dick up around the city.
Okay, cool.
Right. So kind of fun, kind of interesting. There's a lot of cameos in this movie. Paul Giamatti actually makes his feature film debut.
Really?
In this movie.
Okay.
He barely has one line. He just says, "What?"
Okay, we'll look for that.
There's a Tim Burton cameo.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
There's a Cameron Crowe cameo.
Okay.
Alice in Chains.
Okay.
They perform live in this. They're one of the bands.
Okay, I kind of remember that.
So the actual stars of the movie, do you remember any of them?
Yes, you had Bridget Fonda.
Correct.
I mean, you already named Matt Dillon.
Yes.
You have, what's his name, who is not George C. Scott, but his son.
Campbell Scott.
Kyra
Kyra
Sedgwick.
Bill Pullman.
Bill Pullman's one of the main people in this?
He's not one of the main people.
But he's in it.
He's the doctor.
Right. Okay.
Jeremy Piven.
Of course.
Eric Stoltz.
That makes sense.
Peter Horton.
Peter Horton, here's a who, is in this?
Yes.
He just came up on one of our things.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
And Tom Skerritt.
Well, this is just going to be the best. That's very interesting to me. I love him.
You love Tom Skerritt?
I mean, I'm starting to, like, really have a relationship with him.
One of the things that I thought was really interesting about this movie is that Warner Brothers later tried to turn this movie into a television show.
Okay.
But Cameron Crowe was not interested in it. He really didn't want there to be a movie or a TV show of it. And he later heard the news, this is the way it's reported, he later heard the news that the film Singles would become a TV show from David Crane and Marta Kaufman.
Okay.
Who famously made Friends.
Okay.
And Crowe called up his lawyer and tried to stop it. But NBC went ahead with the idea anyway, incorporating many of the elements of that proposed series into Friends.
Oh, interesting.
And Cameron Crowe told Rolling Stone in 2017 that his mother still says, "You really screwed up on Friends. All you had to do was say yes. You'd be living in a castle right now."
Oh, man.
So he did try to sue them, I guess, but there weren't enough similarities in what Friends finally became.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously,
like, yeah,
they're very different.
It's an ensemble thing.
Yeah, an ensemble, a group of friends. And,
right.
You know, it's not set in Seattle. There's not a lot of...
It's also comedy. I wouldn't call Singles a comedy.
They do refer to it as a comedy.
Do they?
Yes.
Okay, maybe it is. I don't remember it as that. I will tell you what I remember about this movie.
Okay.
Unless you have more facts. Do you have more facts to share?
I mean, I have so many facts, but...
Well, do you have another, give me your best fact that you have left.
I probably already gave you my best fact.
Okay.
Oh, no. Wait, I didn't give you my best fact.
Okay.
Are you ready for this?
Okay.
Johnny Depp
Okay.
turned down the role of Steve, who Campbell Scott plays in this movie.
Okay.
And the reason he turned it down was he told Cameron Crowe he was not ready to say "I love you" on screen.
Oh, God, Johnny Depp.
He's very dramatic and silly.
And, man.
So he turned it down. And then Matt Dillon was actually, they thought about Matt Dillon for the role of Steve, but he was given the role of Cliff.
Okay.
Who's the lead singer of that band. Jennifer Jason Leigh, Jodie Foster, which after finding out Silence of the Lambs were the same year, I was like, Jodie Foster were never even considered doing this movie. And Mary Stuart Masterson were all considered for the role of Linda.
Okay.
But Johnny Depp, most interesting fact.
Okay. That is an interesting fact. I like it a lot. So here's my memories of this movie. I have a couple big ones.
Okay.
First, I remember, of course, the soundtrack. And I have to say that, like you said, I had the soundtrack before I saw the movie.
Uh-huh.
And when I saw the movie, didn't like the movie as much as the soundtrack.
Really?
Yeah. I don't remember, loving this movie.
Okay.
I remember being very excited to watch it.
Uh-huh.
And it being, a very big deal thing. Uh-huh. But I remember being it wasn't a movie that I watched over and over again.
Okay.
But I definitely did see it. Now, there's a part in this movie where it's a big, love scene-y part where Campbell Scott goes to someone's door. The person, I think he's in love with Kyra Sedgwick in this. And he just says, "I was just nowhere near your neighborhood."
Yes.
Yes. There was a boy in high school who did that for me. And I remember my sister was home at the time. And my sister was just like, like just thought it was the greatest thing. And I was just like, ugh.
Because you didn't like the movie or you didn't like the boy?
I didn't like the boy.
That boy was a little cringy.
Yes. And it was a very cringy moment. And I was very much just
and you just sent him away?
I don't know. I don't remember. I think there may have been a rose involved. It was...
And you took it and you were like, get out of here.
No, I think I was probably too immature to like handle any of that. But I feel like I just was not. I definitely wasn't like swooning over it at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. It didn't have the effect I think that he probably wanted it to have.
Sure.
Yes. So those are my big memories from this movie. But I'm excited to watch it just because like I also think it was probably more adult than I was at the time. Like, it wasn't meant for me. Well, it was meant for probably 20-year-olds.
I very much remember it being like... I very much remember that time of our lives of being like a separation from our past selves. Or for me, anyway. Very much a separation because I was starting high school. When I got into high school, I got totally different friends than I ever had in middle school. I don't even know what happened to those friends or where they went. But, I feel like before everything had been so, this idea of like you had to like go with what everyone else was doing and just kind of like, because we went to a really small school.
Yeah.
There's this idea that you just kind of like, this was your personality because of where you were. And where you lived. Right. And then I feel like in high school, I mean, still small high school, but at the same time, it was like new friends. Yes. New boys.
Yes, because our high school it was all different people. It brought in like different people from different towns and different schools together.
Yeah. So, and it was like, oh, I don't necessarily have to be this one thing anymore. And then I feel like we also had, the grunge progression and started dressing differently and going to the thrift shops to get clothing. We did. I mean, most of my clothes were from thrift shops or my dad's closet.
Yes, for sure.
Or the Gap still, because,
Sure.
Long live the Gap.
Well, to me, that was also a big year because my sister actually went to college that year. Okay. So prior to that, like my freshman year in high school, my sister was a senior. So sophomore year, it was kind of like, I, for the first time in my life, had my own room. Oh, and that was a big deal. Yeah. And, I had, like I said, I had like my own things. And I feel like it was a very big deal for me. Right. Because I'm a middle child. And I had to share my room like forever. Sure. So it was nice. It was a big deal.
Yeah. And you get decorated the way you want. Uh-huh. And I feel like I do feel like our personalities really started to like shine at this time.
We became friends that year.
We did, yes.
Yeah. So it was a very big deal year.
It was a big year in the lives of Kim and Emily.
Absolutely.
Do you want to know what Ebert thought of this movie?
I always want to know what Ebert thinks.
Ebert's like our North Star.
He really is. Saint Ebert. We need to get one of those like saint candles with Ebert on it. I'm sure they make those.
So he gave this movie 3 stars.
Okay.
And he said, the movie will challenge some audiences simply because it is not a 1, 2, 3 progression of character and plot. There's no problem at the beginning and no solution at the end. The film is about a life process that is, by its very nature, inconclusive, the search for happiness. Crow's insights into the material include one particular perception. In your 20s, you tend to spend more time putting yourself on the map than worrying about anyone else's happiness. Wise. He's so wise.
So wise. Ebert. Oh, rest in peace, buddy. Rest in power.
He's dead.
Power. Kim.
He's not dead.
Roger Ebert?
He's not.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry to tell you this. He's been dead for a while.
I thought Siskel was the dead one.
He died first. Uh-huh. He had cancer or something. Yeah. And then Ebert did. Remember he had they took away about a lot of his neck and he had very bad and he couldn't speak for a long time. No. You just missed that whole thing.
I was probably worried about myself and not anyone else's happiness, including Ebert's.
I think he probably died when we were in our 30s. We will find that out but I'm so sorry to tell you this. Okay. Well, should we go watch this movie?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay.
I think we should watch it.
Okay. Yay! Na 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 na.
It's kind of a terrible movie.
It's really bad.
Yeah, like fucking horrible.
I mean, I remember not liking it.
Really?
As I said before, I mean, I feel like my memory of it is that loved the soundtrack, very excited to watch the movie, saw the movie, and I didn't get it and I didn't really like it. And I kind of thought going into it this time that maybe it was like I was too young to watch it and I didn't really get it or something. And that maybe now watching it, I would get it. I don't get it.
No, it's definitely, I wrote down bad movie, great soundtrack.
Yes.
Soundtrack's so good.
It's so good.
But the movie is not good. And I feel like it's a plain movie that is wrapped in the guise of grunge.
Yes. It was dipped in grunge.
Dipped in grunge.
And music.
Yes.
Grungy music stuck to it, and that was nice. But then once that all fell off, it was just a bad chunk of movie.
just a turd.
Just a turd of a movie.
A lone turd.
On its own, just the movie, I don't understand. I understand like a Cameron Crowe movie, and he does some like unique. He's always done kind of unique elements within the films he makes, and I think with this, there's this whole thing where the individual characters will just talk to the camera and break the fourth wall. But I don't know. I just don't feel like that's this unique element, but there's nothing else in the movie that is interesting or unique. Like I think he could have done a lot more with that and made it more of a thing and made it more stylized. Right. But he didn't.
But don't you feel like too, like, I mean, for me, I always thought this movie was like high bar.
Did you?
Yeah, I really liked it.
When you were young?
Yeah, I really liked it.
I think you liked the soundtrack. I
did, probably. And I think I probably liked the idea of it.
The look of it and the way people dressed in it was definitely of that time. And I was really enjoying that aspect of it, like seeing the clothes.
And I also think too, there's something, I mean, you referenced the, the talking to the camera, but there's also these like scene breaks.
Right.
Where they're like each section is titled.
And has that font, which is very much the Pearl Jam font.
Yes. So I feel like something about that too. Like, I think when you're younger and you see something that's different and you know that you're different.
Right.
You are drawn to things that you're like, okay, this is for me.
Yes, this is my thing. Right. I like this music. So this movie is for me and I feel unique because I like it.
Yes.
But the movie is not good.
And it's not unique.
No.
It's very much just plain love story.
It's a plain story dipped in grunge. I think we described that best just then.
Yes. Hold it by its toe and dip it in some
grunge. Some delicious grunge. I think as a movie itself, it's like, I understand when like Roger Ebert was talking about it, it doesn't follow a typical 3-act structure. It's not as if there's a through storyline. It is very much just the lives of these different people kind of all coming together. But and like each of them has their own little story, and there's some nice scenes within this that I think, and there's some nice points that are made within it, but none of them are ever go anywhere. And I'm not saying that a movie has to hit you over the head with something to be good. And I'm not saying it has to be formulaic to be good, though those formulas exist because storytelling is a thing that's been around forever, and that's why 3-act structure works.
Okay, Emily.
But you know what I mean? Like, I think he was trying to do something different, and like, it's not a 3-act structure. It's just like these different stories, these different people coming together.
Vignettes.
And I do think that at that time, there were all these filmmakers trying to do different things. You had, I mean, I don't know what year Pulp Fiction came out, but it was it was within a few years of this. Yeah. And, that was so different. And I do think that there were these different things happening, which were great, but this movie is not that.
Right. And I think that it gets a lot of credibility by being written and directed by Cameron Crowe.
Yes, I think that it does. But I also I don't think this movie has stood the test of time because it's not good. Like, you never hear of people like, when they're talking about great movies from the 90s, you don't hear people saying singles. No. It's more about that if it ever comes up at all, it's just about the soundtrack.
But I also feel like it's just very much like the beginning of a time.
Yes.
It's very interesting to me because I think, too, if this movie was made 3 years later, it wouldn't have happened.
No.
Because there's no way that Pearl Jam would have been involved with it. Or Chris Cornell.
No.
Or Alice in Chains.
No. Well, that is a very cool thing about this is that you see these people right before they become megastars.
Right.
And then they were everywhere.
Uh-huh.
Like I kept it. I had a collage that was completely dedicated to Eddie Vedder.
I remember.
I loved him, and seeing him in this movie, I remember. It was rekindled. I remembered it, and I was like, oh, we really had something then, Eddie. We really did.
He was a beautiful man. He still is.
He is, but he's like, I think at that time, he's 10 years older than we are. I think he was very just, loved him. So cute.
I also think, I was thinking about it too while we were watching it. So you have all the members of Pearl Jam in Citizen Dick.
Yes, you do.
And nobody in Pearl Jam has died.
I think they're very good people. Like, I know the drum.
What are you trying to say? The people that died are bad people?
Well, I think they're like drugs and everything.
Right.
I think they did have a drummer, because I think they've switched out drummers throughout their existence. And I feel like they had a drummer that did end up passing away.
Oh, really?
I think so. We'll have to look that up. I don't know. But yeah, the main people, Eddie Vedder, who, for all intents and purposes, is supposed to be a really nice guy. I've heard him speak on one podcast, and it was the Daddy Issues podcast with
Oliver
Hudson. And I have to say, he's a really nice man.
Yeah.
Like, he's just a really interesting person, and he seems very kind and mellow. And when you hear people talk about him, they always just say what a nice person he is.
Right.
And that makes, that means we really could have had something, Eddie. We really could have. You're probably too nice for me.
Well, and he's also 10 years older than you, so it would have been a little...
I also don't know that I think he might be shorter than I am.
Okay, too bad.
I know. I shouldn't even say that because that's not nice, but, I don't know.
Well, you've got Chris Cornell. He's passed away.
He has passed away. He's passed.
You have the lead singer of, was it Lane Staley? No. Yeah.
Yeah.
Alice in Chains.
Alice in Chains has passed.
He's passed away. And I think someone else in Alice in Chains has also passed away.
Yeah. I think someone in Smashing Pumpkins died.
Yes.
Yeah, but they're all old too. So, I mean.
Well, no, they didn't, but they all didn't die old.
No, they didn't.
So, they didn't. It has nothing to do with it.
It has nothing to do with it. Yeah, it was a time, man. It was a time.
I thought...
You can keep talking. The door was open.
Well, so what?
Well, I had to just keep talking. Go.
Oh, okay. The door was open. We paused for a weird second. Sorry. I don't know why.
Go ahead. Say what you're going to say.
The biggest... I think that what's really interesting that kind of makes this movie of its time, too, is the fact that the biggest... pieces of technology in this movie are answering machines and garage door openers.
They play a critical role in this movie, both of those things. And you see the computers on the desks in the office are just,
Yeah.
What a time.
But the answering machine.
Oh, an answering machine.
Remember when you got yours?
My personal one? I didn't get one until I went to college.
Did you have your own phone number, your own room phone number?
I didn't have a phone in my room, Kim.
You did? I don't remember.
I didn't have my own stereo. I didn't have a phone. It was pretty big time when we got a cordless phone that I could take into my room.
I had my own phone number.
Okay.
And 886 Bell. Perhaps you remember.
Oh, yes. Oh, my God. We should call it right now. See who has it.
And so I had my own phone number, and I remember it would ring. And so there was a line of it was in my room, but then there was also a line in my dad's, we'll call it his office, but it was like the computer room of our house. And I used to stand down there and talk to him. And then when he wasn't looking, I would turn the ringer off on the one in his room.
Okay.
So that it wouldn't ring because I wasn't allowed to be on the phone after a certain time of night.
Oh my God. Kim.
So
say, oh, hi, Dad. Just came down to talk.
Right. What's this phone doing? Oh, weird. Okay, I'll hang it back up. And then I would turn the ringer off so that I could talk on the phone all night long.
Why was that? Just so that they had the one down there just for like safety purposes, so you weren't just, they could, if they needed to, they could see what was going on.
I guess so. I don't know what the impetus behind it was, but I just know that there was a line in there and a line in my bedroom, and it was inconvenient
for you. Right? Sure. Well, hey, it was lucky you that you had your own phone number.
But I did have a phone with an answering machine.
Yeah.
And I remember that it was a big deal, like, to come home and see what messages you got and stuff like that.
Oh my gosh. But we didn't have, like, we had a family answering machine. So if someone left me a message, they were like, my entire family was hearing it.
Okay. See, I remember one time, so I would like make my outgoing messages.
Okay.
Like change them a lot. That was something that was like a big deal, your outgoing message.
100%.
And I remember one time these two girls got in a fight at school. And on my outgoing message, I was like, so-and-so beat up so-and-so today. And then that other girl that I said got beat up called my answer machine. I was like, I'm going to fuck you up, bitch, or something like that.
How old were you when this happened?
In like 8th grade. It was terrifying.
Oh my gosh, Kim. Yeah. This is why little kids shouldn't have their own answering machines.
I remember being so scared about it and just realizing like the power of
the answering machine. Word got out fast that you had this.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Word just circled around the school. Holy crow.
Yeah, it was scary. And then I was just like, okay, it's Kim. Leave a message after the beep. Bye.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's crazy talk to me. Mm-hmm. Even just hearing you talk about it now. I bet you also had call waiting, and I bet you also had like the 3.
I did have call waiting. I could do 3-way calling. Yes.
We didn't have any of that.
Okay.
Yeah, we were plain. We were a plain people over at the Rosenberg house.
My dad liked new technology.
Yeah, we didn't have any of that stuff, and I wanted that. Although the tyranny of 3-way calling, I've like discussed this with my daughter who is in middle school now.
It brought down society.
3-way calling. I'm just surprised that doesn't happen
because no one knows how to do it on their cell phones.
No, I do, but it's funny. My daughter was telling me about something that happened in school recently where another girl was asking people to tell them things like things that she does that bother them. Oh. And I was like, there was this thing inside me that was like, oh, you didn't say it, right? Like, because she's just doing that because it's going to come back. She's just doing that. And then she's going to be mad at you about what you said. Right. Which wasn't the case at all. Like, it was a legit thing of like, no, I'd like to know.
Maybe in therapy and like trying to be a better person.
But I'm so scarred that I'm just like, well, you didn't say anything, did you?
Right. Well, they would use 3-way calling. So I would call Emily and be like, okay, you be quiet. Mm-hmm. We're going to call this third person.
Yes, we are.
And I'm going to ask that third person
to talk shit on me.
To talk shit on you. And they will. And then you'll be like, ha ha ha, I heard everything.
Yeah.
Or you'll call a boy.
Oh, no.
And be like, and this person likes you. And then you would hear a boy basically like, well, I don't like her.
Right. I know. It's so funny. All of this. And it's funny because I am the mother of boys. Mm-hmm. And the boy, like now seeing what they are like, I'm like, oh, well, this is why. Like, girl, like, they don't care. No. And it's not like they're mean or they just aren't there with any of that stuff. Yeah. So, yes, but this movie, let's talk more about this. Let's go back to this.
Tell me a little bit about this movie. Tell me more.
So, this movie is about a few different people. You have there's no real even storyline. You have the Kyra Sedgwick and Campbell Scott kind of couple, but like, they're really, I don't like anyone in this movie. I like Bill Pullman, who's the doctor who's in one scene.
Because you're old now. Because you're like, that's the responsible choice.
He's the nice one who's just like, no, don't get a boob job because you're beautiful. Right. And like, that should be the one you're less like, oh my gosh, he's a doctor. Right. He's telling me I'm beautiful. I'm single. This is the person would be the right choice.
Right. But you wouldn't have. You were totally going for Matt Dillon.
Right. And seeing Matt Dillon. Well, first, I remember this even from back then. I always had a thing for Matt Dillon from when I was young and watched The Outsiders. Okay. And Matt Dillon was, he was in a lot of stuff, I feel like, when we were younger. But in this, I don't like his look in this. And I did not like his look in this back then.
He's handsome.
He is. I mean, he's Matt Dillon. Yeah. He's always handsome. But I don't like the soul patch and the long hair. I don't think worked on him. But anyway, I don't like anyone in this movie. But the main couple in this is, I think, Campbell Scott and Kyra Sedgwick. And I don't understand them. Like, I probably understand Campbell Scott a little bit more. He falls for her, and she's kind of shitty to him from the beginning.
Well, she's been burnt before. She's had bad relationships before. She's afraid to get hurt again, Emily.
Okay, but she's like rude, and he's nice.
Okay.
Like, I don't
take his side?
I do.
Okay.
You take her side?
I mean, I think I do.
Okay. Well, we're going to fight now.
Okay.
Well, no, I mean, in the beginning, you do see that she's burned by a foreign man.
Right.
A Spaniard.
Yeah. Who just basically has a shtick that he's doing to other ladies. Like, I'm a foreign exchange student. I'm only going to be here for 2 more weeks. Let's hang out.
And then he gets them to have sex with him.
And then he's like, bye. And then she saw him out at the bar.
Yeah.
Doing the same thing
Which,
to another lady.
I mean, bold of him to do that in, like, a town that...
Well, it is Seattle. It's a big city, presumably.
I know, but I feel like
everyone's going to see Alice in Chains, obviously.
Right. But I feel like I lived in Philadelphia, and... you would see the same people out at different things because they're all kind of the same age and into the same stuff.
But also I feel like by the face he made when he saw her was just kind of like, he expected to see her and he was just kind of like, yeah, what do you want me to do about it?
Yeah,
like,
this is what I do.
This is what I do.
Yeah, are you going to get upset?
Right.
Like, this is
you
what's
really
happening.
going to do something because you got got.
You got got by the Spaniard. But so she is not really nice to Campbell Scott when he's like being very sweet. He does I was just nowhere near your neighborhood. But he's also not great either. Like, I feel as if both of them are in their early 20s, but they're like in charge, they're bosses at their jobs.
Yeah. He's like in charge of building a super train in Seattle that is going to replace it's basically like a transportation. He's obsessed with transportation.
which that will tell you what a riveting movie this is.
And he basically is trying to build the super trains with good coffee and great music so people want to leave their cars behind and get on the train to go to work.
And knowing everything that you know now as an adult and about how the government works and about how a big project like that would get approved and how many years it would take and how many people would be involved in it, do you really think that they would have one 25-year-old guy pitching it to the mayor alone?
Right.
No one else in his firm is coming along?
Yeah. I know what my job was like when I was 25. Even if he is 25, because they said Bridget Fonda's character was 23.
Yeah, right.
If he's 25, I know what my job was like, and I did not have a lot of responsibility, nor should I have.
Because you're only just out of college a few years. I mean,
I don't know anything about anything.
Right. Like, even if you went into you got your first job at 22. And you're just amazing.
You're not a super trained expert.
No, you're not the boss. You might be on the team.
Right. Yeah.
It would be a great first experience. You might be the guy who, like, the boss of that job is like, I'm pitching this to the mayor. I want you there. Like, I want you to, but you're not going alone to meet with Mayor Tom Skerritt.
That's right. He's a respectable mayor, goddammit.
Who needs some chapstick.
Oh my God.
Strat.
And then Kyra Sedgwick's character, she works for, and this is something else very much of the time, like this environmental agency.
Right.
Where she's trying to save the world. And that was like a big thing.
Sure.
I mean, I know it is now, but
she didn't do her job.
I feel like back then we actually thought we were going to do something. I was in the ecology club.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, we weren't using products that tested on animals.
No.
We wore T-shirts with the earth on them and animals.
We
and
did.
stuff.
Save the whales, man.
Yeah. Earth Day is every day.
All the time. Reduce, reuse, recycle.
That's correct.
But yeah, she goes to Alaska. Yeah, I don't know.
To do something.
To be on a boat. In the course of their relationship, she gets pregnant.
Yes.
And she gets these 90s pregnancy tests, which were...
like chemistry sets.
Oh my gosh, like test
Full
tubes.
science.
Like, they came with a little holder for the test tubes.
Yeah, like this big plastic box. And you had like different tubes.
Yeah.
And you had to like
You had to murder. You had to actually murder a rabbit.
Right. You had to angle them in different directions or something because there was like prisms built into the body. It was like a weird thing.
I don't know. But man,
it looked complicated.
It did look complicated.
But she was pregnant, and then almost immediately she's in an accident and loses the baby.
Right.
Which I completely forgot about that part, but that was horrible.
Yes, that was a part that I really remembered from this as being very sad.
And I think that's why, like, I'm still very scared in movies.
Of course, at intersections.
Yes.
I know.
It happens a lot, but I feel like this is probably, like, I don't know.
One of the first ones.
It's terrible.
Yeah, it wasn't that great. Well, then you have that. Then you have Bridget Fonda, who is in love with Matt Dillon.
Cliff.
Who is the lead singer of Citizen Dick, who is just like every boy
that we went down.
Yes, every boy. Mm-hmm. And she really is just so in love with him, and she's being a little desperate, and he's like not that into her.
Right.
And the second she's not that into him, guess what, guys? He's into her. Yeah. But at a certain point in this, she wants to get a boob job because
he likes Amazon hourglass women.
Yes, he likes a big boob. So she's going to go. But then, so she goes to meet with the doctor, who is Bill Pullman. And they're sitting in front of a computer screen, like making the boobs bigger or smaller.
Like weird science style.
Very weird science style. And then it's like, okay, I'm going to go do this thing. And she's like a barista, but she's going to go pay for a boob job.
Yeah.
And she's going presumably to get the surgery on that day when she goes back, and it's like in his office, it's like, okay, we're going to do this. And it's like a dental chair in his office. There's no like nursing or anything else.
No, there's just a lot of products on the counter.
A lot of products on the counter, and he basically talks her out of it in a nice way. It makes you love Bill Pullman. And as I said before, she should have just been like, okay,
right,
I'm with you now. I'm with you now. But he doesn't. But that whole scene, I'm like, was he going to be like, okay, let's do a boob job on this dental chair?
Yeah, that was weird.
It was really weird.
I don't know. I hope it was just a consultation.
I know. And then go ahead. I keep talking.
It's what you do.
Apparently so.
Well, I think we should talk about the best character in the whole movie.
Who is?
Debbie.
Oh, God, Debbie.
Expect the best, Emily.
I love her.
Yeah.
I really liked her a lot.
So when I was younger, I remember her being as like this older lady that lived in the complex.
Right.
In the same apartment complex as all these cool young people.
Right.
And she was like kind of like, it's not a cool person.
Right.
But I think she was meant to be a cool person. She was just a weird kind of lady.
She was just really wanting to be with someone.
Yes,
and she was having a hard time finding a person, but she wasn't just going to sit around and wait.
No, and so she does a video dating service called Expect the Best.
Yes.
Where she has to go. And this was a thing.
Oh, yes.
That you had to go and like film a tape, make a tape. Mm-hmm. And then I guess that tape was fed to other local singles.
Well, I think you're in the program.
Yeah.
It's like Millionaire Matchmaker.
But don't you get like a tape back with all of the people that want to meet you?
Well, it looks like that's what happened in this movie, but I don't know what the real life thing was.
We were too young for that.
We were too young for that, but it sounds like you get like a VHS cassette in the mail.
Yes, but her video shot by
Tim Burton
is very Tim Burton-esque.
It's very avant-garde.
And she's like flying through the air and like, then she's like in black leather.
But she's up for it. Yeah. And I feel like, again, maybe this character was misaligned as being kind of lame, like a lame-o. But I look at this and I'm just like, no. She's expecting the best. She's putting herself out there. She's like, I'm not just going to sit here and wait for the perfect person.
Right.
I'm going to make this happen for myself. Mm-hmm. And she goes and she does it. And she's proactive. And I like her.
I feel like I learned a lot from Debbie in that at a certain point in my life, I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to do online dating. And I did it. And then I met my husband in real life. But I the week after, so my husband and I hung out on the weekend, and the week after, and I fully told him, I was like, look, I have a date that I made online, and I went on the date.
Oh yeah, I remember this.
Because I can't put all my eggs in that Randy basket.
Now all those eggs are in that Randy basket.
They're rotten.
Yeah, I feel like that. I definitely, so it's funny watching this. So first time I watched it, I was a teenager, and I feel as if yes, you're kind of single, but you're you're in like an aquarium. You know what I mean? You're in a fishbowl. So it's not real.
Right.
You're not on a dating scene. You're in high school.
Right.
But then when you get old, like, so between the time that I watched this originally and now, like, that part of my life happened.
Yes.
In my 20s.
It was just like that.
It was terrible. Like, we talk about this a lot. Like, I did not enjoy that time in my life.
Being single.
No. And dating. I think
it was a lot of pressure.
It was a lot of pressure. It was a lot of, although I feel as if the period of datingness, singleness that I had right before, getting together with my husband, I was definitely more like, yep, I'm putting myself out there. I'm doing this stuff. I'm dating, whoever. I'm going to play, as my grandmother always said, play the field. I was playing the field.
Sure.
It just took up so much of your mental space.
I know.
At that time. And it's hard to remember that because that mental space is taken up by everything else in my life now.
Right. And it's weird to think of yourself in that way because I don't necessarily like that person.
No.
Who's very vulnerable and very, just at the mercy of someone else.
Yeah. I was Debbie.
Yeah.
I feel like I was a Debbie.
I
was between a Debbie and then the
Bridget Fonda.
Bridget Fonda.
Yeah. Because it's just very much like waiting for something to happen. And then, but at the same time, I feel like I gave men so much power, Emily.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I just feel like that sucks.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I would never, I will, I would never want to have to go through that again.
No.
Like, I would just as soon, like, if my husband, something happened, I would just feel like, okay, I'll be alone. Like, yeah, it just would be done. Yeah. But I would not go back to the dating scene. It seems awful.
Well, as they say in the beginning of the movie, have fun, stay single.
No, don't. Don't.
But you would stay single and just not worry about it.
I wouldn't date.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. I think that was just, it was just not great. Not great time. And maybe that's why I don't like this movie. Actually, I don't like this movie because I think it's just not a good movie.
Yeah.
So there you go.
All right. Well, do you have anything else to say about singles?
I would like to say that like going back to the grunge stuff, I did really enjoy watching the grunge thing. And it did dawn on me that we never got that. Like, we never got to experience, I was too young by the time I was in my 20s going out dancing at clubs, it was like that early 2000s, like New York music scene with, you got, who's the band? The Strokes and like all the bands happening at the time.
You went to the wrong places. I feel like when I was going out in my 20s, it was like all the great club music, like Usher and...
Oh, yeah, that too.
50 Cent.
But I'm saying if I went to see like a band play in there were those clubs, where they played all the dance clubs where you're like dancing and there's like a DJ. Right. And yes, that would be it. But then there was also ones where it would be, an actual band playing and it was, all the bands.
Oh, God. When I was at this age, I was hanging out with people that were in their own bands.
Ugh.
Disgusting. And they thought they were great musicians, and we like fanned the fire of that by going to see them.
We fangirled out.
Ugh, yeah,
we really did.
Hardcore.
I know.
And and we just led them to believe that they were the best thing ever. And I'm sorry, but you weren't.
No, you guys were not that great. No. I'm sorry to say that. Yeah. I don't think any of you are listening to this.
No, I hope not.
Oh, God, I hope not. But yeah, I would really never, they weren't that good. They weren't that good.
No, but I feel like that's what I want to see. Like, if I went to go see live music, it was people that I knew being in a band.
When we were in high school.
Well, in high school, and then when I was in my 20s, too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, did I know people in bands in my 20s?
Yeah.
Oh, who? Oh, I don't know.
People that I dated.
People that you dated were in bands?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm sorry for that.
Yeah.
I'm glad that, we don't know people in bands. The only band I go to see is the kids band at their school.
And they're the best band
when they have the spring concert, and I'm looking forward. I will fangirl out to that band.
Sure.
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
Well, this was fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, let's wrap it up.
Let's wrap it up.
Let's wrap up this disaster. It was a direct connect for this week's Spader time.
Spader time. Spader time. It's a direct connect.
Sure is.
Eddie, drop that sound effect.
So this movie direct connected Kyra Sedgwick with James Spader.
Okay.
In a 1997 movie called Critical Care.
Oh, it doesn't sound like it was good.
But wait, listen to the people that are in it. Helen Mirren.
What?
Anne Bancroft. Albert Brooks. Jeffrey Wright. Mario Martindale. Wallace Shawn. Plus you got Kyra Sedgwick and James Spader.
Wow.
And this movie is about a hospital resident put in the midst of a legal battle between two sisters who, one I guess one of them wants to pull the plug on their father and the other one doesn't.
Oh, geez Louise. No. I feel like James Spader did a lot of his manager was like, look at all these people who are going to be in it. And James Spader was like, okay, I'm in. Yeah. And then he gets there and it's
he's the lead. He's the hospital resident. He's the main person, I guess, or one of the main people in the movie.
Okay.
So, and this was probably before Helen Mirren. I feel like she got popular when she was older.
Good for her.
Yeah. So anyway, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that was very fun. All right. Well, guys, please check us out on the YouTube, on the internets, on all of the things where we are, where you can find us on all of the platforms.
Oh, you just said that so well. At Confidently Controversial on Instagram. We're at Confident Contro on TikTok. We have a website. Just search for us. Find us out there in the ethers.
Find us.
Gross.
All right, guys. Thank you so much.
What do you have to say to the people?
Oh, you know what? If you are single, be confident.
Yeah.
Go out there. Make a video cassette of yourself.
You're a hot piece of ass.
You are. Go get him, girl. Or boy.
But
don't be like
Cliff.
No, and be mean when you're out there.
Yeah, say God bless you when someone sneezes, for crying out loud.
Seriously, don't be controversial
like
that.
Thing to do.
I don't think did we say what controversial really is in this, but I don't care. Don't do it. And we love you guys.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Controversial. Confidently